Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, we're going through Genesis right now, and we're going to be finishing Genesis chapter 48 today. And I've said before, these last chapters have some things that are very significant, and a lot of times we miss them as we just read through the Bible. But I wanted to point out those things as we're going through this. Today it's entitled The Switch-a-roo, okay? And this is taken from Genesis 48, verses 12 through 22. So if you have your Bibles, like I do, you can follow along here. It says this, Then Joseph removed from Israel's knees and bowed down his face to the ground. And Joseph took both of them, Ephraim on his right toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh on his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them close to him. Okay, I'm going to stop there because these guys, Ephraim and Manasseh, are in their 20s right now, okay? And remember, Jacob could barely get out of bed, okay? So don't think that this was like, he takes these little guys, these little 2-year-old boys, and, is bouncing them on his knees and having a good time with them. It's not that way. This is more of a ceremony. And so the ceremony, and we talked about this earlier, or last time, where Jacob says, who are these guys? Okay, and he knew good and well who they were, but it was part of the ceremony. And this is part of the ceremony too, where they're sitting on his knees, okay? And I'm sure it was probably, they were gentle with it, and it was more of a ceremony than, actually these guys sitting on the knees, okay? So then they get off the knees, and Joseph lines them up, and there was a certain way he lined them up because of the way that the ceremony went, okay? But you're going to see Jacob has another thing in mind. Verse 14, But Israel reached out his right hand and put it on Ephraim's head, though he was younger, and crossing his arms, he put his left hand on Manasseh's head, even though Manasseh was the firstborn, okay? So you'd have Manasseh and Ephraim, and that's what Joseph lined it up, so it's all perfect, but Jacob, starts to lay him on the head and then crosses him, okay? And Joseph, you're going to see Joseph was like, no, this isn't right. Let's read here. Verse 15, Then he blessed Joseph and said, May the God before whom my father Abraham and Isaac walked faithfully, the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has delivered me from all harm, may he bless these boys. May they be called by my name and the names of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and may they increase greatly on the earth. When Joseph saw his father placing his right hand on Ephraim's head, he was displeased. So he took hold of his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's head. Joseph said to him, No, my father, this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head. But his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know. He too will become a great people, and he too will become great. Nevertheless, his younger brother will be greater than he, and his descendants will become a group of nations. He blessed them that day and said, In your name will Israel pronounce this blessing. May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. So he put Ephraim ahead of Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joseph, I am about to die, but God will be with you and take you back to the land of your fathers. And to you I give one more ridge of land than to your brothers, the ridge I took from the Amorites with my sword and my bow. Okay. So he did the switcheroo here and did this. Jacob had this planned out. And if you follow along with the way God had blessed the descendants before, it wasn't always, the traditional way of the oldest son, okay? In fact, Jacob was not the oldest son. And he did it deceptively, but it was God's plan that Jacob would be the one to be the one that's blessed, okay, through this, and carry on be in that chosen line. All right. So he does this, and does the switcheroo, and it ends up that Ephraim is the one and he's younger, okay, and he's going to be the one that's going to be greater, okay. And if you read ahead, into like Joshua, into the book of Joshua, where that land is divided up, and even into Judges and so forth, you're going to see that Ephraim was a greater tribe. It had them more people and stuff, but then some of the tribes were kind of swallowed up into that tribe, and the region a lot of times became known as Ephraim. Okay, and so what Jacob said here ends up coming true. But God doesn't necessarily, he doesn't follow tradition. He follows the way that he wants to go. And that's what you can see going through Genesis here. God had a plan, and his plan wasn't necessarily traditional, but he allowed, he guided that plan, okay, working through men. So hopefully that makes sense to you here today, and it can be an inspiration to us all. Thanks for watching. I'm a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow we're starting Genesis 49. And that is where Jacob is going to bless all his sons. And you're going to see some of those sons didn't really receive much of a blessing. It was more of a curse, actually. But each thing he said to each son is very significant. So join us tomorrow as we start that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.